Here are 101 facts about Ford Motors you might not know, and while some of these are inspiring, some are just downright weird. Number 1. The Ford F-Series has been the best-selling truck in the United States for 40 years straight, and it was the best-selling vehicle in the country for 34 of the years. Americans sure do love their trucks. Number 2. Ford was the first manufacturer to start crash testing vehicles in 1955, leading all other manufacturers to follow suit. It's wild to think there was a time when crash testing wasn't a thing, like nobody prioritized the safety of the people buying their cars. It's wild. Number 3. In the late 1970s, people decided trucks weren't just big enough, so as humans we did the next best thing and made monster trucks. The first ever monster truck to hit the track in 1980 was in fact a refurbished F-150. More like the chassis of the F-150, but you get the idea. Number 4. The original Ford F-100 didn't get a factory four-wheel drive until 1959. Number 5. The Ford Model T was the first affordable and commercially produced Ford vehicle, going on to be the best-selling car in the world in 1909. Number 6. All Ford F-150s sold globally are made and assembled in two plants in the United States, the Clickhoma plant in Missouri and the Dearborn plant in Michigan. Number 7. The front bumper of the entire F-Series was the longest-running unchanged part of the vehicle, staying the same on all models made from 1959 to 1979. Number 8. Ford was pushing speed limits back in the 1960s, with the GT40 reaching top speeds of up to 212 miles per hour, something that was unheard of for the time. The cars also accelerated fast, going 0 to 60 in just 4.7 seconds, something that even modern sports cars struggle with today. Number 9. Ford hit a new record in 2018 by selling over 1 million F-Series trucks globally. That means on average, Ford sold one truck every 30 seconds that year. Turns out, y'all really love your trucks. Number 10. In 2011, the 23-foot-long Big Banana car made its way into the Guinness World Records by setting the record for the longest banana car. It's genius, right? Well, the custom-built banana car was actually built on the chassis of a 1993 Ford F-150, meaning nothing. It really means nothing because nobody's driving around in a car that's shaped like a banana. Number 11. Ford made history in 2012 as the first original car manufacturer to use an EV as a NASCAR pace vehicle in Richmond, Virginia, with the all-electric Ford Focus. The all-electric F-150 Lightning also made its NASCAR debut 10 years later in 2022, serving as the pace vehicle for the NASCAR Cup Series. Number 12. The iconic Ford GT40 was actually named after its height as it stood only 40 inches tall. This low build may look funny, but it made the GT40 more aerodynamic, slicing through the air with ease while allowing it to accelerate up to 24 miles per gallon due to its light weight. Number 13. Ford only made commercial and military-grade vehicles until 1964, when it introduced its luxury models that included the Ford Mustang and the Mustang Mach-E. Number 14. Ford may have won the 24-hour Le Mans race in 1966, but it was a sore loser at the races before then. All three Ford GTs that entered the race in 1964 didn't make the finish line, and they then lost again the following year in the same spectacular fashion. Thankfully, they learned from their failures by adding the 427 big block and improving the quick-change brakes. Number 15. Ford's luxury brand Lincoln Motors is most popularly known for crafting exclusive luxury limousines that have served multiple presidents in the United States. Number 16. Ford trucks are not only famous for being famous, but they rank as some of the fastest pickup trucks in the world. The F-150s took 9 out of the top 20 fastest pickup trucks in the world based on their 0 to 60 miles per hour ratio, as compiled by Car and Driver in 2022. These included the 2021 Ford F-150 Raptor, the 2021 Ford F-150 Hybrid, and the 2001 Ford SVT F-150 Lightning. Number 17. The Troller T4, a Ford subsidiary off-road vehicle, is powered by the company's 3.2-liter Duratorque 5-cylinder engine and a 6-speed manual gearbox. Do you remember those? Sadly, you can't get this bad boy in the United States anymore, but they are all the rage in Brazil. Number 18. Ford also owns Argo AI, its very own subsidiary developer of autonomous driving systems, which it soon intends to incorporate into its EVs, because autonomous systems are going so well for Tesla. Number 19. A 2005 Ford GT set the world record for a standing mile at 300 miles per hour. It's already an amazing car. Having a world record only gives it extra bragging rights. And just for spite, the Bugatti Chiron needs 3 miles to hit its top speed. It's pathetic, really. Number 20. Ford still remains the only automobile manufacturer to provide the sleek Securicode keypad feature in its diverse range of fleets. Number 21. Ford takes eco-friendly to new heights by using refurbished fabric seat covers in all of its 2008 Ford Escape cars that were produced. Number 22. Ford was also one of the first companies to bring a clean diesel engine to the Super Duty truck back in 2008, reducing particulate output by more than 95% compared to gas engines. Number 23. Ford plants generate alternative power by incorporating its innovative fumes-to-fuel system, which destroys volatile compounds in fumes, converting them to electricity. Very futuristic, if you ask me. Number 24. Ford offers the only police fleet vehicle with flexible fuel capability with its 2008 Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, able to operate on either E85 ethanol or gasoline. Number 25. A 2023 Ford Ranger was used to set a very weird record, but frankly, most world records these days are weird. The Ranger holds the record for the highest gap driven through by a pickup truck on 2 wheels. I told you it was weird. Number 26. Ford's Dearborn truck plant is built with a Sedum roof, which provides natural overhead insulation and oxygen for the assembly building, drastically reducing energy costs. Number 27. Ford plans to go all green by introducing zero emissions in all versions of the Mustang Mach-E. Number 28. Ford made a big electric move recently by launching the largest EV charging network in North America with over 12,000 charging stations. Number 29. Ford's all-electric Mustang Mach-E holds not 1 but 3 Guinness World Records. The Mach-E holds the record for the shortest charge time between John O'Groats and Land's End in the UK, the fastest charging rear-wheel drive, adding 73 miles of driving range for every 10 minutes of charge, and finally, the record for the most efficient energy consumption by an electric car on economy runs. It seems like a lot of conditional records, but, you know, a win is a win. Number 30. Ford's 2022 Maverick holds the unofficial record for the most fuel-efficient hybrid pickup truck in the United States at 37 miles per gallon. Number 31. Although Carl Benz is credited with inventing the first automobile in the world, Ford Motors is credited with inventing the first moving assembly line, becoming the first company to mass-produce commercial vehicles. Number 32. Ford Motors was the first to advocate for better employee wages in 1914 by paying employees $5 a day, which was unheard of at the time because the average worker in the United States made $2.50 a day. Number 33. The first vehicle built by Henry Ford was the quadricycle, a small vehicle with 4 bicycle wheels, a filler, and a very noisy gas-powered 4-horsepower engine. It was innovative for the time for a car that not only moved forward, but was extremely hard to drive and had a maximum speed of 30 miles an hour. Number 34. The Ford Company was founded by Henry Ford and 11 other partners who incorporated the company with $28,000 in starting capital. Number 35. The first Ford car ever sold was the Ford Model A in the year 1903. Number 36. The Ford Model T was the first vehicle built across various countries simultaneously. The Model T would be produced in Canada, the United States, and England in 1911, with production expanding to countries like Germany, Mexico, Brazil, and Japan the following year. I guess you could say that the Ford Model T was the world's first global car. Number 37. The new 2022 Ford F-150 now has a lighter truck bed made with high-strength military-grade aluminum, making it lighter and surprisingly more sturdy. Number 38. In Ford's bid to expand, Henry Ford attempted to build a small utopian-style village called Fordlandia in the Amazonian jungles of Brazil in 1928 of all places. The village was to serve as a rubber factory as well as provide jobs to the locals, but unfortunately the harsh and unforgiving jungle did not share Ford's good intentions. The village became a failure and the lands as well, as the factory remain uninhabited to this day. Number 39. Ford not only built cars, but the company also dabbled in airplanes, building the tri-motor airplanes in 1925 during the First World War. Ford produced about 200 of these airplanes, mainly used by the United States military, and the operation, however, ended in failure, and production ended in 1933. Number 40. Ford Motors also did its part during the First World War. The Ford Model T was retrofitted to be used as ambulances, supply trucks, and artillery transport vehicles. Number 41. Although Henry Ford was opposed to the Second World War, the attack on Pearl Harbor turned the tide for the pacifist and his company. Ford ended up building over 57,000 airplane engines, 86,000 aircraft, 277,000 armored trucks, tanks, jeeps, and generators, all to help with the war effort. Number 42. Ford debuted one of his fastest-selling cars, the Ford Mustang, in 1964. Number 43. The Ford Mustang was put on the observation deck of the Empire State Building in 1965. It was dismantled into 4 pieces, placed in the service elevator, and then reassembled once it was on the observation deck. The entire stunt was photographed using a helicopter and nothing more than a publicity stunt, although a very daring one. Number 44. Legendary Doors lead singer Jim Morrison only owned one car throughout his entire life, and he chose the 1967 Shelby GT500. Number 45. Ford debuted the all-electric Mustang Mach-E in 2019, and it was just as riveting as its gas-powered predecessor. Number 46. Ford trucks have some of the most durable lifespans of any vehicle in the world. In 2011, the company shared the story of retired veteran Gary Mueller, who drove his 2002 F-350 over 1 million miles and counting. It's great for Gary, but how long has he been using the same truck? Number 47. Ford has one of the longest and most productive assembly lines in any automotive brand in the world. In 2020 alone, the company produced over 4.1 million vehicles globally. And guess how many of those were F-150s? That's right, a lot. Number 48. Henry Ford and Thomas Edison weren't only colleagues, but also lifelong friends. Edison's son captured his last breath in a test tube, sealed it, and gave it to Henry Ford. Ford kept it as a memorial of their friendship, which, is not weird at all. Not as weird as people who stuff their dead cats and hang them in the living room. Number 49. Ford uses natural materials at the end of their assembly line, although the people at PETA might not find it particularly eco-friendly. Ford incorporates the use of ostrich feathers to dust their vehicles before they go on to be painted in order to give them a unique mirror finish. Ostrich feathers are great at holding dust, and it doesn't hurt that they can last up to 5 years. Don't ask how they get those feathers, though, because I don't know. Number 50. The Ford Escort debuted in 1967 in the UK and soon gained widespread popularity. It was the best-selling car in the UK for much of the 80s and 90s, with over 4 million of the models sold in Britain over 33 years. Something about boxcars just seems appealing to the British population. Don't get me started on their obsession with the Ford Focus. Number 51. Ford's unique blue logo was not introduced until about 4 years after the company was already in business. The emblem was redesigned to its current form in 2003 in order to celebrate the company's 100th anniversary. Number 52. The Ford Mustang was the signature bad boy muscle car for much of the last century. For some reason, people associate the Mustang with having a criminal record, and that's hot, apparently. Number 53. The Ford GT40 turned heads by winning the 24-hour of Le Mans not once but 4 consecutive times between 1966 and 1969. This, of course, was a welcomed win after they had lost sorely the previous years. The GT would beat out veteran winners like Porsche, Lamborghini, and Ferrari. Number 54. The first Ford SUV, the Ford Bronco, debuted in 1966 and quickly became a favorite across different countries, selling over 24,000 units in the United States alone. Number 55. The popular Ford Focus became a global bestseller across several continents. It was the best-selling car in the world in 2012, 2015, and 2017. Number 56. The Ford Edsel, which rolled out between 1958 and 1960, is considered one of the company's worst marketing failures. The car did look great if you're into these kind of cars, but in the time it took to launch after much anticipation, the market had changed. In other words, people wanted cheaper and smaller cars, and the Edsel certainly was not that. Number 57. The Ford F-150 Lightning is the all-electric model of the popular F-150. Lightning, electric, get it? Number 58. Ford's Rouge Complex in Dearborn, Michigan remains one of the largest industrial complexes in the world, covering 15 million square feet of floor space while putting out 4,000 vehicles daily at the height of production. Number 59. The Ford Fiesta is one of the best-selling cars in the world. It's a nice choice if you're looking for a fun yet agile car, but then again, if you like being amongst the other 2 million owners, then sure, I guess. Number 60. The Ford Maverick is a compact pickup truck that was reintroduced in 2021. I'm all for reinventing older cars into newer models, but honestly, I'd pick the classic 70s Maverick over this any day. Number 61. A 1955 Ford F-100 was featured on the global blockbuster The Expendables. Apparently, Sylvester Stallone had specific customizations he needed in the 50-year-old truck, like a lowered suspension, automatic transmission, and it being black. Number 62. The Den Hartog Museum in the Netherlands has the world's largest collection of fully restored Ford vehicles, having a total of 206 Ford trucks and cars. Number 63. World-famous pop stars aren't exactly famous for owning trucks, but Lady Gaga happens to be the proud owner of a first-gen F-150 SVT Lightning and has been known to roam the city streets in it. Number 64. The Ford GT40 Mark IV is rated as the fastest Ford car in the world, reaching top speeds of 220 miles per hour and going 0 to 60 in just 3.1 seconds. Number 65. Ford CEO Bill Ford happens to also be the world's #1 Ford dealer as well. Apparently, people prefer to buy their Ford trucks from the owner of the company himself. Number 66. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of Ford's foremost ambassadors, owning a few of the trucks himself. Number 67. In December of 2022, a refurbished 2006 Ford GT was equipped with twin-turbo engines and able to reach top speeds of 310 miles per hour, earning its unofficial badge as the fastest street-legal car in the world. Number 68. The Ford F-150 has been featured in more movies and commercials in the United States than any other brand. And to think an everyday F-150 is more of a celebrity than Ferrari, what are the odds? Number 69. Ford's Mustang GTD is the most powerful car in the company's lineup, built with 811 horsepower. It's simply breathtaking. Number 70. Ford reportedly owns a substantial stake in Rivian, the EV startup hoping to rival the likes of Tesla. And funny enough, the Rivian R1T packs more power in its powertrain than Ford's F-150 Lightning. I can't decide if that's a good investment for Ford or just downright disrespectful. Number 71. Ford's headquarters in Dearborn, Michigan is known as the Glass House, probably because it's a huge building covered in glass. Number 72. The Ford Taurus took the top place as the best-selling car in the United States, selling over 1 million units between 1992 and 1996. This is a car I can get behind. It's simple yet functional. No shade to that Fiesta, though. Number 73. Ford was ahead of their time in terms of eco-friendly, with the company using alternative materials to produce cars in World War II due to a global metal shortage. Number 74. The Ford Thunderbird was one of the first personal luxury vehicles in the world. The Thunderbird was basically owned by the tech bros of the 1950s. Number 75. Ford unveiled the world's first retractable hardtop in 1957 with the Ford Skyliner. It was the first convertible to be mass-produced and sold worldwide. The world hasn't been the same ever since. Number 76. Ford's GT is a supercar with top speeds of up to 216 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest legal street cars in the world, and it doesn't hurt that it looks absolutely amazing as well. Number 77. Ford's flathead V8 engine was the first one of its kind to be mass-produced by an automobile manufacturer, and to date, the flathead V8 is still an iconic powerhouse that few engines have been able to match. Number 78. The Ford Escape remains one of the very first hybrid SUVs to hit the market in 2001. Number 79. Ford holds the title for producing the first pickup truck with a classic pickup body frame in the Model T Roundabout, which would be unveiled in 1925. Although it looks more like a carriage on wheels, but hey, everybody starts somewhere. Number 80. Ford's famous Gran Torino became a national sensation after an appearance in the 1975 hit television series Starsky and Hutch. Number 81. A 1968 Ford GT40 Golf is the most expensive Ford to ever sell at auction, with a whopping price tag of $11 million. Number 82. Ford's Lincoln Continental has a unique design with special doors in their previous models. Number 83. The first minivan produced by Ford was the Ford Freestar. I mean, it even looks ancient. Number 84. Ford's EcoSport is a sleek compact SUV variant specifically designed for urban environments. Doesn't it just scream gated community? Number 85. Ford's Rogue Complex was the first automobile manufacturing plant to integrate all stages of manufacturing on one singular site. Number 86. Ford's long line of V-Series trucks were used by the United States military during World War II. Number 87. The very first Ford vehicle sold was the Model A, a two-cylinder engine car capable of reaching top speeds of 30 miles per hour. It would be sold to a dentist in 1903 for a total sum of $850. Number 88. The first Model A, sold in 1903, is currently owned by Bill Ford, the present CEO of Ford Motors. It's basically just a family heirloom at this point because that hunk of metal doesn't even run anymore. Number 89. After Ford debuted the Mustang in 1964, over 96,000 pedal-powered toy Mustangs would be sold the next Christmas. Number 90. A single F-150 can tow up to 1 million pounds of a load at a time. I still don't get why y'all keep buying it, though. Number 91. Back when going green wasn't even a thing, Ford plants were using biofuels like animal waste as an alternative source of energy. Number 92. The Model T was so popular in the 1900s that by 1916, about 55% of all vehicles on U.S. roads were Model Ts. The Willys Overland Model 38 was the Model T's closest competitor in sales, but only commanded 10% of the market. One of the reasons the Model T was so popular was because it was less than half the price of its rivals, so basically, people were as cheap then as they are now. Number 93. Over the 50-year period the Ford Thunderbird was produced, over 11 different models were made, and more than 4.4 million units were sold. Number 94. Ford's Rouge Center was home to over 102,000 employees at the height of employment in 1929. It was basically a mid-sized city where you get paid twice the average wage and had bragging rights about working at Ford. Number 95. Ford mass-produced the world's single-block V8 block at the Rouge Center in 1932. That's one thing about Ford. They might not be the first to invent something, but they'll surely be the first to mass-produce it, so us regular people can get our hands on it. Number 96. Before 1932, all of the V8s used by Ford and other automobile manufacturers consisted of two V4 block engines that were combined. Number 97. Ford's GT is always produced in limited supply and has a rather lengthy application process in order to acquire one, with waiting periods that can be 8 to 12 months. So, if you're looking to use the savings from your 9-to-5 to own a GT, you may just want to reconsider becoming a world-class influencer instead. Number 98. Worth over $150 billion, Ford Motors is the fourth largest family-run business in the world. Number 99. While the famous F-150 debuted in 1975, the F-Series that preceded it has actually been in production since 1948, but was pretty much only used for commercial purposes, as a truck should be. Number 100. Ford vehicles were also the first to make safety glass in 1927. Number 101. Ford Motors dabbles in other interests like owning the company that helped NASA build control rooms for the programs. So in other words, Ford has built a spacecraft. Let's see Ferrari top that. Did I miss anything today? Because if I did, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more quick car facts that I'm sure you can't wait to use in any conversation about cars. You're welcome, by the way.